Beloved chosen one. Listen closely, heaven has stopped you here on purpose. You are not scrolling by coincidence. There is a message meant only for those whose spirits are sensitive enough to feel the shift in the air. Something is moving, quietly, powerfully, and it has your name written upon it. You are about to win, but the victory will not come through noise, debate, or defense. It will come through silence. On January 5th, your silence will speak louder than any word you could ever say. You have been through too much to waste energy explaining yourself to those who were never assigned to understand you. The battles you fought were never about proving your worth. They were divine training grounds to teach you restraint, to strengthen your discernment, and to sharpen your spiritual senses. Every time you were misunderstood, God was teaching you to stand in stillness. Every time you wanted to respond but didn't, heaven took note. And now, this instruction comes as a final preparation. Don't say a word on January 5th. Why that date? Because heaven has marked it as a day of divine reversal. Things are going to move behind the scenes that your voice must not interrupt. There are blessings being positioned, hearts being shifted, and situations being rewritten in your favor. But this next move of God requires silence, because the sound of your obedience carries more weight than the sound of your voice. There is a moment coming where you will feel the urge to speak, to defend, to clarify, but resist it. The noise of others will try to provoke you. Familiar voices will seek to draw you out of alignment. Don't. This is a spiritual test, one that separates those who react from those who reign. Your silence will not mean weakness. It will be your declaration of trust. When you stay silent, heaven speaks louder for you. Chosen one. You have been equipped for this. You have walked through seasons where words could not fix what was breaking. You've cried in secret, prayed in whispers, and felt God's presence in moments of total stillness. That stillness was training for what's coming. You are entering a prophetic silence, a holy hush before the breakthrough. Do not mistake this quiet for emptiness. It is the sound of God working in stealth mode on your behalf. Remember the walls of Jericho, they fell after a period of silent marching. Heaven's patterns rarely change, first the silence, then the sound, then the victory. So when everything in you wants to explain, pause. When you want to post, pause. When you want to call and justify, pause. Let heaven handle what your voice cannot. Your silence will confuse your enemies and confirm your faith. Do you understand the weight of this moment? The Holy Spirit has chosen to whisper instead of shout. That means you are closer than you've ever been to the manifestation of what you've prayed for. But the closer you are, the quieter you must become. The anointing that is forming around you cannot be carried in noise. It thrives in peace, in hiddenness, in sacred stillness. This is not just a date, it's a doorway. When January 5th arrives, guard your words. Speak life if you must speak it all, but refrain from defense, complaint, or explanation. God is writing something in invisible ink, and your voice could smudge what he's signing. Let the pages turn in silence. Your restraint will be the sound of your faith. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 28. Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent, and discerning if he holds his tongue. So hold your peace. The reward of your silence will be far greater than the satisfaction of your response. Heaven is watching who obeys this call. Angels are already aligning your next step. This is divine strategy, not suggestion. Now, chosen one, if this word resonates deep in your spirit, if you feel the weight of this instruction, show heaven your agreement. Like this message, share it so others may prepare, and subscribe to remain in the flow of divine revelation. And in the comments, type this prophetic number, 444. This number is a divine seal of alignment, a heavenly signature that confirms you are covered, guided, and guarded. When you type 444, you are declaring that heaven's armies surround you, that silence is your shield, and that your victory is already written in the unseen. Those who move in obedience to this word will see acceleration and favor beyond imagination. The quiet ones will rise while the loud ones wonder how. You are marked for glory, sealed in silence, and destined for divine victory. The clock in the spirit realm has been ticking. Beloved chosen one, you may not see it, but heaven has been counting down toward a divine reversal written long before your name was known on earth. Every delay, every silence, every disappointment, it was never wasted time. It was calibration, a heavenly synchronization preparing you for the moment when the unseen clock strikes its appointed hour. That hour draws near. January 5 is not an ordinary day. It is a hinge of destiny. Something shifts when that day arrives, and your silence will become the signal heaven has been waiting for. You felt it already, the tension in the atmosphere, the unexplainable stirring in your spirit, the way time feels heavier, almost sacred. It's because the unseen clock is no longer counting years or months. It's counting breaths. The divine timeline is aligning with your earthly path. The countdown is not toward loss, but toward revelation. There is an appointed moment where what has been hidden will emerge, and everything that once resisted you will begin to yield. Do not mistake divine delay for divine denial. The waiting was not punishment, it was construction. God was building capacity within you, stretching your faith, and refining your patience so that when this appointed time arrives, you would not crumble under the weight of your own blessing. The enemy wanted you to rush, to panic, to act out of fear, but heaven slowed you down because divine timing demands divine maturity. Chosen one, when God sets a date, even the stars bow in obedience. January 5th has been circled in the invisible ink of heaven. It is the moment when certain doors open, not because you knock harder, but because the keeper of doors decides it's time. Your part is not to push, it is to perceive. Silence is not just absence of speech, it is the posture of readiness. The countdown is not measured by clocks, but by obedience. Think back to every time you thought nothing was happening. You prayed, you wept, you felt forgotten, but heaven was moving pieces you could not see. The unseen countdown was active even in your silence. Angels were stationed, hearts were softened, and opportunities were being shaped behind curtains of time. God never stopped working. The ticking of the unseen clock was the sound of your preparation meeting His promise. Do not let weariness blur your discernment now. You are closer than you realize. When heaven prepares to reveal something monumental, there is always a strange stillness before it happens. It feels quiet, almost uneventful, yet in that stillness, divine energy builds. Like the moment before dawn, the world seems asleep, but light is already forming beyond the horizon. January 5th is that horizon. In the unseen realm, the countdown is not about seconds, it's about surrender. Each moment of silence, each act of obedience, moves you closer to breakthrough. God does not measure time the way men do. He measures readiness. When your heart aligns with His rhythm, the appointed time manifests naturally, as if it had been waiting on you all along. This is why you cannot speak carelessly during this countdown. Words carry spiritual weight, and in seasons of transition, even whispers echo in eternity. Guard your language, align it with faith, not fear. Speak peace within your heart, and let silence be your worship. Heaven responds to faith that trusts the unseen clock, even when the hands of time seem still. The enemy senses the nearing shift. That is why distractions have increased, why strange chaos tries to rise without reason. It is a desperate attempt to throw you off timing. But do not engage, stay anchored in peace. The clock cannot be stopped by opposition, it was wound by divine hands. The promise will mature right on time, and those who mocked your patience will witness your sudden elevation. Chosen one, the countdown is not about dread, it is about destiny. Heaven has orchestrated every beat, every breath, every delay, so that when the appointed day comes, your victory cannot be denied. The invisible clock strikes not with sound but with manifestation, and when it does, your silence will erupt into evidence that God never forgot you. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, "For the revelation awaits an appointed time. It speaks of the end and will not prove false. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay." Wait then with sacred stillness. The countdown is nearly complete. What was once postponed is now approaching. You are standing at the edge of divine alignment, where heaven's timing and your obedience meet. Be still. The clock is about to strike your moment. When heaven goes quiet, chosen one, the earth trembles in confusion. The silence of God is not absence, it is strategy. You have cried out and wondered why the voice that once thundered now whispers. You have prayed and received no immediate reply. But what if this silence is not neglect? What if it is preparation for victory? God's quiet is never empty. It is charged with power waiting to be released. You are standing in a sacred pause. The heavens are rearranging, and God has turned down the volume so that you can finally hear the rhythm of His heart. This is not punishment. This is alignment. When heaven goes quiet, it means something is being written, something that your ears cannot yet handle. There are instructions too deep for sound, too divine for noise. In this stillness, your faith is tested. Will you trust God when He seems silent? Will you believe that His quiet is a promise, not a punishment? The silence of heaven is often the final stage before breakthrough. Remember, the seed makes no sound as it breaks open underground, but that hidden process gives birth to fruit. You're in that same process. You feel the pressure, but heaven calls it progress. There are moments when the silence of God feels unbearable. But the truth is, it is in that quiet where transformation happens. When heaven stops speaking, it's because the instruction has already been given and it's time for you to walk it out. The test is not about hearing, it's about holding faith when there's nothing left to hear. Chosen one, do not mistake divine quiet for divine disinterest. The Lord is still near. His silence is His signal to watch, not to worry. It is in those noiseless seasons that angels move most swiftly. The less you hear, the more heaven is working. God is building something behind the curtain, a victory that will only make sense in hindsight. When heaven goes quiet, darkness grows nervous. The enemy cannot interpret stillness. He expects you to panic, to speak, to undo your blessing with restless words. But every time you choose silence over reaction, you frustrate his plans. Your stillness is your sword. The sound of restraint is louder in heaven than the shout of rebellion. Remember Elijah, he looked for God in the wind, in the earthquake, and in the fire, but God was not there. Only in the gentle whisper did he find his presence. This is the kind of quiet that is happening now. God is not shouting through storms, he is breathing through silence. And that whisper carries more authority than thunder. Chosen one, this silence is sacred space. It is where the soul learns to rest and trust the unseen. It is where faith becomes sight, not because the situation changes, but because your perception does. You are learning to see in the dark. You are learning to hear what cannot be spoken. When heaven goes quiet, it means the plan is active. This is not the end, it is the in-between. The Holy Spirit is working in the hush, shaping outcomes, stirring hearts, and aligning details that words would only disturb. Your job is to stay still, to stay believing, to stay ready. The Word of God declares in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 14, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Do you hear that? Chosen one. The fight is not yours. The silence is your confirmation that God has stepped into the battlefield. When heaven goes quiet, it's because victory has already been spoken into motion. Let that peace settle deep within you. Now, to seal this truth within your spirit, leave a simple prophetic comment below. I am still. This is not just a phrase, it is your declaration of faith. By writing it, you are saying, I trust God even in His silence. I refuse to fear the quiet. I know He is working. Every time you say I am still, heaven hears it as agreement, and angels record your surrender as strength. The quiet ones always win because heaven fights for them. There is a final snare the enemy sets before divine victory. And it is not always a storm or an attack, it is conversation. He knows that words build worlds, and He also knows they can destroy them. The moment your breakthrough draws near, distractions appear disguised as discussions. People will come out of nowhere wanting explanations, arguments, unclosure. But chosen one, do not take the bait. Your silence will protect what heaven is birthing within you. You will notice how familiar voices suddenly demand your attention, how old wounds try to reopen through words, how subtle questions press you to defend yourself. But do not engage. These are traps designed to drain your discernment before your reward manifests. The enemy cannot stop the blessing, so he tries to make you speak yourself out of alignment. Every careless word can delay what God is setting up. This is why the wise learn to seal their lips in sacred seasons. The final snare of the enemy always targets your mouth because your mouth carries creative power. When you respond in frustration, you forfeit authority. When you argue with people who are not on your level, you descend from your throne. Silence is not weakness, it is warfare. The enemy expects noise, and your refusal to speak confuses his camp. You win when you withhold words. There is a time to declare and a time to stay still. The mature know the difference. Some things are not meant to be explained. They are meant to be witnessed. You do not owe everyone access to your revelation. The more you reveal prematurely, the more resistance it attracts. That is why Jesus often healed in secret and instructed people to tell no one. He knew timing is holy. There is a divine rhythm to manifestation, and when you speak out of turn, you interrupt heaven's melody. Chosen one, you are in that sensitive hour now. Heaven is setting the stage for your unveiling, and the enemy senses movement. He will attempt to draw you into petty conversations to lower your vibration, to make you defend what God has already justified. But your defense is divine silence. You are not required to explain what was decreed in eternity. This is not the time to post every thought, share every vision, or correct every misunderstanding. Let people think what they want. The truth is, their opinions cannot touch what is ordained. God does not need your arguments to prove His promises. The same mouths that question you today will testify for you tomorrow. When that happens, you will understand why the Spirit warned you to hold your peace. Silence frustrates demons. They feed on reaction, and when you deny them attention, they starve. Every moment you resist the urge to respond, you strengthen your authority. Every time you choose peace over proving a point, you ascend. The higher you climb, the fewer explanations you owe. The Spirit of God is teaching you mastery, not over people, but over self. It takes great strength to say nothing when everything in you wants to speak. It takes discipline to stay calm when provoked. But this is how kings and queens are tested, through the restraint of their words. The throne belongs to those who can rule their own tongue. You may feel isolated in this silence, but remember, it is protection, not punishment. God hides you when He is about to elevate you. The same people demanding answers now will soon have none when they witness what unfolds. Let them talk. You focus on listening to heaven, not to noise. The enemy's final snare loses power when you stop engaging. That is why you must be careful even with small talk during this season. Not every question deserves a response. Not every invitation is divine. Choose quiet. Choose focus. Choose peace. Your voice carries too much power to be wasted on arguments that lead nowhere. Heaven has surrounded your destiny with divine confidentiality. You are under a spiritual non-disclosure agreement. What God is crafting within you is too delicate to be exposed prematurely. Guard it fiercely. The promise is maturing, and when the appointed time comes, no one will be able to deny what heaven has done. According to the words found in the book of Psalms, chapter 141, verse 3. Set a guard over my mouth, Lord. Keep watch over the door of my lips. So guard your mouth. Chosen one, let your silence be your sword and your serenity be your shield. The enemy's trap depends on your reaction. Deny it to him. Stay still. Stay wise. The less you say, the louder heaven speaks on your behalf. Chosen one, you have come far. You have endured the silence, the waiting, the misunderstandings, and through it all, your heart has learned the language of heaven listening. Now, God is sharpening that gift within you. You are being called to a new depth of hearing, a new level of obedience. Because when words fall away, what remains is the voice beneath the noise. That is where revelation lives. This is the season to protect your peace like treasure. Guarded lips and open ears, that is your posture now. The Spirit is not asking you to speak. He is asking you to perceive. There are things heaven wants to whisper that can only be received in stillness. Your ears must be tuned to frequency, not volume. God rarely shouts, He often nudges. There will be moments when you will feel an internal tug to act, to move, to respond, but before you do, pause. Ask yourself, is this impulse born of faith or of fear? The difference will define your next level. When your ears are open and your mouth is guarded, wisdom begins to flow like a river. You start to notice signs, divine coincidences, even the tone of peace or unrest that reveals what is from God and what is not. This is what it means to listen deeper. It's not about hearing sounds, it's about hearing truth. When your spirit is calm, heaven can speak without interference. But when you rush, speak too soon, or fill silence with noise, you drown out the divine. That is why the greatest revelations often come in moments of stillness, in a sunrise, a quiet drive, or a late-night prayer. Chosen one, you have something rare, a heart that can still feel God. Many have lost that sensitivity, but you have preserved it through obedience, humility, and quiet trust. And because of that, heaven will entrust you with more. You will begin to hear not just for yourself, but for others. You will sense when to step forward and when to wait. You will recognize divine timing by the peace that follows it. Listening deeply is not easy in a world that celebrates noise. Everyone wants to speak, but few want to hear. Yet those who listen rule those who only talk. The Spirit says your ears are being anointed to discern. Not every sound deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves your response. But when heaven speaks, everything in creation listens. This is why you must guard your atmosphere. Avoid environments that drain your peace. Protect your focus. What you listen to shapes what you believe, and what you believe shapes what you become. Feed your spirit with words that build, not break. Let your faith be nourished by stillness and prayer. And as you walk this journey, remember you are not walking alone. Every time you listen to these words, every time you share a message that stirs your spirit, you are joining a movement of light bearers around the world. You are helping others hear the same whisper that once rescued you. If these words have touched you, gently let the light flow forward, click-like to send a spark into the digital sky. Share this message like a candle passed from hand to hand. Subscribe so that you never miss the next whisper of heaven. And if your heart feels moved, donate as freely as rain waters a seed. Think of giving not as obligation but as pouring oil into a lamp, so it may keep burning for those still lost in the dark. Every act of kindness, every drop of generosity is light multiplied. Some give prayers, others give time, and some give resources, but all give love. That is the true currency of heaven. The apostle reminds us in his letter to James, chapter 1, verse 19. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Let that wisdom live in you this week. Listen more, speak less, feel deeply. And if your heart is stirred, let your support, whether through your voice, your click, or your kindness, be a quiet echo of gratitude. Together we keep the flame alive, one whisper, one light, one act of love at a time. Something powerful begins to move in the invisible when heaven shifts the air. The atmosphere itself begins to tremble, as if creation is inhaling before exhaling change. That is what January 5th will be. Chosen one, a divine shift. It won't look loud, and yet everything will change. You may wake up to the same world, but your spirit will know something has turned. The winds that once blew against you will begin to carry you forward. You will feel it first inside peace where there was pressure, clarity where there was confusion. Heaven's winds will move quietly, rearranging things that were stuck. Do not chase the wind, let it find you. When God changes the atmosphere, you only need to stand still and breathe. Your silence on that day will not be emptiness, it will be synchronization. Heaven cannot move through noise, but it flows freely through surrender. In the natural world, the weather changes gradually, clouds form, pressure builds, and suddenly rain comes. The spiritual world mirrors this. Every prayer, every tear, every silent act of faith has formed clouds of blessing above your life. January 5 is when the sky finally opens, but for the rain to fall, the air must be still. That is why God calls for silence, because movement in heaven begins when you stop striving on earth. This shift will not just bless you, it will realign everything connected to you. Relationships will feel lighter. Delays will dissolve. The doors that resisted you will quietly unlock. It won't happen through struggle. It will happen through stillness. When heaven turns the wind, even obstacles become pathways. Many will not understand this change. They will see calm and mistake it for inactivity. But silence is not absence. It is the womb of miracles. God does his best work when no one is watching. Just as seeds sprout underground before breaking through the soil, your destiny is germinating in hidden places. January 5 is the day that seed breaks the surface. The world may not hear it, but heaven will applaud it. Chosen one, on that day, do not announce what is happening. Let the wind carry the evidence. Let your peace be the proof. The Spirit says that your silence will be the key that turns the lock of long-awaited doors. Be ready. The atmosphere around you is already responding to the divine instruction of stillness. When the shift comes, stay anchored in gratitude. Don't analyze the how. Celebrate the who because it's God. You'll notice small signs: unexpected favor, people returning to make peace, resources aligning perfectly in timing. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations that heaven's weather pattern has turned in your direction. The prophet Isaiah once said that in quietness and trust is your strength. That truth becomes your mantle on January 5th. The less you move, the more God moves. The less you speak, the more heaven speaks for you. The silence becomes the bridge between what was promised and what now appears. Oh, this is the mystery of divine stillness when you stop fighting for position. Heaven positions you. When you stop demanding understanding, wisdom comes naturally. When you stop chasing blessings, blessings start following you. You are entering a flow, an invisible current that carries those who trust enough to let go. So let the wind turn. Let heaven breathe through you. Stand still, chosen one, and let the shift happen. Your silence will not just protect your blessing, it will usher it in. On January 5th, the world may hear nothing, but the spirit realm will resound with the thunder of your obedience. As it is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 15, in quietness and trust is your strength. And now, if this word has stirred your spirit and you can feel that unseen wind preparing to move, leave your silent declaration below. Type this prophetic number as a sign of alignment with heaven's shift. 333. This is not a code, it is a covenant. The number 333 represents divine agreement, the harmony of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit working as one. When you type it, you are saying, I agree with heaven's timing. I am ready for the shift. I choose stillness over struggle. There is a weight that only the chosen can carry, the weight of divine secrets. When God reveals something before its appointed time, it's not a reward, it's a responsibility. Heaven does not share mysteries with everyone. Secrets are given to those who have proven they can be trusted with silence. And now, chosen one, you are being entrusted with something sacred. You carry knowledge that others cannot see, instructions that were whispered only to you. These insights are not for display, they are for destiny. The Lord reveals not to impress you, but to prepare you. What you know in this season must remain protected in silence until God says, speak. If you share too soon, the revelation may wither before it bears fruit. The weight of divine secrets is not light. Sometimes it feels like fire trapped in your bones, like the prophet Jeremiah who said he could not hold it in, yet still had to wait. God allows this tension so that obedience matures inside you. He's teaching you to carry revelation with reverence, not with restlessness. The mature believer knows when to release and when to conceal. Every chosen vessel in Scripture carried a secret before it was revealed. Mary carried a Savior no one could see. Joseph carried dreams that made him hated by his brothers. Daniel carried visions that frightened kings. Each endured isolation because the world could not handle what heaven had hidden in them. You, too, are in that place now, the space between revelation and recognition. It's lonely, but it's holy. There's a reason God hides you. Hidden things grow undisturbed. If the enemy cannot predict your move, He cannot prevent your miracle. That's why God gives certain instructions only in whispers. It's not secrecy out of fear, it's secrecy out of strategy. You are carrying something fragile, and heaven is guarding it through your silence. Sometimes you may feel misunderstood because you cannot explain what you know. Let that be okay. You were never meant to convince them, you were meant to carry the call. The secret inside you is not for validation, but for transformation. You're not keeping it from them, you're keeping it for them until it's ready to bless them. This discipline is difficult, especially for hearts that long to be understood. You will want to share, to express, to prove that God really spoke. But revelation revealed outside its time loses its purity. Think of fruit beautiful when ripe, bitter when forced. Timing turns what feels heavy into something holy. Chosen one. This season is not about visibility, it's about stewardship. The secret God has placed within you is sacred ground. Guard it with prayer. Protect it from opinion. Tend to it in silence. Each time you choose to hold your peace, you're saying to heaven, I trust your timing more than my need to be seen. The weight of this secret might make you feel restless. But remember, every promise has a gestation period. The seed of what you carry must stay buried before it blooms. If you rush the process, you risk damaging what God is designing. Learn to live comfortably in the unknown, confident that what's hidden will soon be revealed. There will come a day when what you've kept quiet about will speak for itself. Your life will become the testimony your words never could. Those who doubted you will watch as everything you carried in silence takes form in brilliance. You won't need to announce it. It will announce you. So don't hold the weight well. Pray over it. Fast for clarity. Write what God whispers, but keep it sealed until release. This is sacred stewardship, the quiet work of the chosen. The glory that follows will be proportionate to the silence you maintain now. We find in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 8, verse 17. For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known or brought out into the open. Trust that truth. What's hidden will be revealed at the perfect time, and when it is, every moment of restraint will make sense. Heaven never forgets those who guard its secrets faithfully. Your silence now is the proof of your maturity and the seed of your future manifestation. When they ask, you smile. That is your weapon now, grace under pressure, peace under provocation. The world expects noise from those who are misunderstood, but heaven teaches you to answer with stillness. You have entered the stage where silence speaks louder than defense. Every time you resist the urge to explain yourself, you are protecting something sacred, your peace. You will soon encounter people who sense that something about you has changed. They will notice the calm that surrounds you, the quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. They will question it. Some will come in curiosity, others in confusion, and a few in hidden envy. They will say, you've changed, and you will smile because that is the point. Transformation always offends stagnation. Chosen one. Your silence is not weakness, it is strategy. It is the crown God places on those who have passed the test of reaction. There was a time when every misunderstanding demanded your explanation, when every rumor hurt you deeply, when you felt obligated to defend what heaven had already confirmed. But you've outgrown that version of yourself. Now, silence is your language, and wisdom is your tone. When they ask questions that deserve no answer, respond with serenity. When they try to provoke you, respond with presence. When they gossip about you, respond with gratitude, because what they are discussing is no longer who you are. Your growth intimidates those who benefit from your old self. So instead of trying to prove them wrong, Show them peace they cannot comprehend. This is not about pride, it's about preservation. Words are currency, and every unnecessary conversation costs energy. You are no longer available for draining exchanges that add nothing to your destiny. The more you mature, the less you need to explain, and your peace will tell your story better than your mouth ever could. Even Jesus understood that. When questioned by Pilate, he remained silent, because purpose does not negotiate with misunderstanding. There is power in choosing not to engage. Silence is not surrender, it's strength disguised as stillness. It tells heaven that you trust divine timing enough to let God vindicate you without your assistance. When they ask about your plans, smile. When they question your direction, smile. When they doubt your worth, smile. Not because you are unaffected, but because you have learned that storms do not deserve explanation, they deserve endurance. Every time you smile instead of snapping back, you are declaring that your peace is non-negotiable. You will also discover something sacred in this posture people begin to see. Light they can't define. They will feel something holy about you but won't know why. That's because your silence has become a shield, and your calm has become a ministry. You're preaching now without speaking a living sermon written in restraint. Your smile is more than a gesture, it is a prophecy. It says, I know something you don't. It says, my outcome is already written. It says, you can question me, but you cannot cancel what God has ordained. That smile is the seal of divine confidence. It is not arrogance, it is assurance. You have seen enough of God's faithfulness to stop doubting His process. This season will bring new opportunities to stay silent in grace. Old triggers will resurface to test your peace. Familiar faces will come back to measure your reaction. Don't give them what they came for. Let your silence confuse them and your smile convict them. What they interpret as indifference is actually spiritual maturity. Remember, these explanations belong to those who still seek approval. Revelation belongs to those who have found peace. You are no longer living to prove. You are living to demonstrate. The difference is vast. Proof demands words. Demonstration requires presence. You are becoming the evidence of God's work, no speech required. According to the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 23. Those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity. Hold that truth close. Guarding your mouth is not avoidance, it's alignment. Every moment you choose silence over defense. You shift from reacting to reigning. You rise above the noise and dwell in peace, unbothered by misunderstanding. So when they ask, you smile. That smile is heaven's answer through you. It says all that needs to be said. One day, those same voices that questioned you will stand in awe of what your silence produced. Until then, keep your composure, protect your joy, and let your stillness finish the sentences your words never could. There is a language heaven speaks that has no words. It is the language of whispers. The human ear may miss it, but the Spirit never does. When the Holy Spirit moves, He does not always arrive with thunder or fire. Sometimes, He arrives as a gentle breeze brushing against your soul, so quiet that only the sensitive will notice. That is the realm you are entering now. Chosen one, the realm of the whisper. The Holy Spirit is not far away. He is closer than breath. He does not compete with noise. He waits for silence. And when He finds a heart quiet enough to listen, He begins to reveal things that others cannot hear. This is why your silence matters. It is not emptiness. It is the doorway through which heaven enters. The whisper of God carries more power than the roar of the world. You may expect answers in dramatic ways, But God often speaks in stillness because stillness requires trust. The whisper trains your spirit to lean in. If God shouted, you would not draw close. But when He whispers, you must move nearer. The whisper is not weakness, it is invitation. Every soft nudge in your heart, every moment of unexpected peace, every subtle conviction, these are heaven's quiet conversations with you. The world glorifies loudness, but the Spirit values attentiveness. The whisper teaches you dependence. It draws your focus away from the crowd and fixes it on the caller. Sometimes, you will hear nothing yet feel everything, a calm assurance that needs no proof. That is the whisper of God reminding you, I am here. Chosen one, when the Spirit whispers, it may not sound like words. It might come as a sudden knowing, a flash of clarity, a gentle warning, or a wave of comfort. Do not dismiss those moments. They are heaven's language woven into your awareness. You will begin to recognize His rhythm, the way your heart feels lighter when He's near, the way peace follows His presence like a shadow follows light. But to hear the whisper, you must quiet the storm within. The Spirit will not compete with chaos. He speaks in peace because He is peace. This is why the enemy tries to fill your mind with noise, anxiety, and endless distractions to drown out the still, small voice that holds your direction. But silence restores clarity. Every time you pause to breathe and listen, you strengthen your connection with the divine. The whisper carries secrets that noise cannot hear. It guides you where logic fails. It will warn you when danger hides in disguise and lead you toward blessings hidden in plain sight. Those who listen deeply live wisely. The whisper is God's navigation system. It reroutes you away from disaster and toward destiny without needing to raise its volume. Many ignore this voice because it does not demand attention. Yet, those who cultivate sensitivity will find that life begins to flow differently. Stress lessens, confusion clears, and peace becomes the compass. You no longer chase answers. You receive them gently. This is why your stillness has been tested, because you are being trained to live by whispers. God is refining your spiritual hearing. Soon, you will find yourself pausing mid-conversation because something inside says, wait. That hesitation will save you. You will feel prompted to move or stay, speak or remain silent, and you will later see why. That's how heaven directs those who can hear. The voice of God thundered in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 12. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. That's how God still speaks quietly yet unmistakably. So when the world grows noisy, retreat to stillness. Turn down every distraction. Rest your heart in His presence. The whisper that follows will not just guide you, it will guard you. Now, chosen one, if you can feel that whisper stirring even now, if your heart knows this message is speaking directly to you, write it as your confession below. Type these simple words: I hear you. This is not a performance, it's a prayer. It tells heaven that you are listening, that your heart is tuned, and that the whisper of God will not go unheard. Every time you say it, angels take note. A listener has awakened. When you type, I hear you, you are declaring that your soul is awake, your spirit is aligned, and your heart is ready to move where heaven leads, without fear, without hesitation, without doubt. Every letter you write echoes through eternity, marking you as one who listens to the divine whisper. It's not a comment, it's covenant. A soft yes heaven immediately recognizes and records. Chosen one, your victory will not begin with applause. It will begin in quiet celebration between you and heaven. This is the beauty of divine success. It arrives not with thunder, but with peace. The world may not even notice at first, but heaven will. The celebration of obedience always happens in secret before it bursts into sight. Inside you, something is already shifting. The long nights of waiting, the silent prayers, the tears that watered your faith, they were never wasted. They have been forming the roots of joy. Now that joy begins to rise softly like dawn over the horizon. You are entering your hidden celebration. The moment when heaven dances, though no one on earth yet sees the music. The miracle of this moment is not in the noise, but in the knowing. You sense it before it manifests. You can feel that your soul is lighter, that peace has replaced panic, that what once seemed broken now feels beautiful. This is how heaven celebrates quietly through transformation. You don't need trumpets when your heart already sings. You've endured the shadows. And now light is returning to you, not the harsh light of attention, but the gentle light of assurance. God is rewarding your stillness with serenity, your obedience with overflow. The hidden work you did when no one was watching is now bearing fruit. Every act of faith you thought went unnoticed has been recorded by heaven's pen. The truth is, chosen one. This victory is not just for you, it's through you. Your breakthrough becomes someone else's hope. Your peace becomes someone else's confirmation. That is why heaven celebrates quietly first. It must solidify the blessing within you before it can multiply through you. So as your hidden victory unfolds, take a moment to breathe and smile. You made it through what tried to break you. You stood when others walked away. You trusted when logic screamed to quit. And now, without any need to announce it, your spirit knows you've won something the world can't measure, peace that cannot be stolen. This is the kind of victory worth celebrating. Not with noise, but with gratitude. Not with display, but with devotion. It's like watching sunrise after the longest night, soft light touching everything you thought was lost. Heaven celebrates with you now. And as you feel that warmth spreading through your heart, pause and think, who else needs this light somewhere? Another soul is sitting in the same darkness you once knew, scrolling through endless noise, praying for one word of hope. You can be the lantern that finds them. As it is written in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17. The Lord your God is with you. He will take great delight in you. He will rejoice over you with singing. That's what this moment feels like. Heaven singing softly over your life, a melody of mercy, a rhythm of renewal. So breathe it in, smile gently, and let the celebration continue, not with noise, but with gratitude, not with striving, but with stillness. If this message has touched you, let the light continue, click like not out of habit, but as an act of agreement. It's your way of saying, yes, I receive this peace. Share this message the way dawn shares its light, softly, naturally, freely. You never know whose night will end because you decided to share your sunrise. Subscribe to stay connected, not for numbers, but for nourishment. Each word released here is another drop of oil for your spiritual lamp, keeping your flame steady when winds of weariness try to blow it out. And if your spirit feels gently stirred, consider giving. Donate not as payment, but as partnership. Think of it as watering the tree that once sheltered you. Every seed you plant becomes shade and fruit for others yet to arrive. When you give, you are not losing, you are multiplying light. The image is simple. Imagine a candle lighting another. The first flame doesn't fade. It grows brighter because it's shared. Your support through prayer, through generosity, through presence keeps this flame alive. No pressure, no demand, only invitation. Give as you feel led, with the joy that comes from knowing you're part of a divine ripple effect. Like, share, subscribe, or give only if your heart is moved, not because you must, but because it feels right. Like worship made visible. Together, we keep the light glowing. one act of faith at a time. There are moments in the unseen realm when everything shifts without warning, when heaven exchanges one thing for another, loss for learning, pain for purpose, silence for strength. This is the mystery of the great exchange. Every tear, every unanswered question, every battle you thought you lost was actually a divine trade happening behind the veil. God was never taking from you. He was transforming you. Chosen one, understand this: nothing surrendered to God ever stays empty. What He asks for in one season, He returns in another, multiplied, purified, glorified. You thought He took your voice, but He was teaching you the value of words. You thought He delayed your promise, but He was preparing your capacity to hold it. You thought silence was punishment, but it was preservation. Heaven was performing the great exchange, turning burden into blessing without needing your permission, only your trust. The unseen realm operates like divine commerce. Heaven trades what weighs you down for what lifts you up. Every time you choose forgiveness instead of revenge, heaven trades bitterness for freedom. Every time you choose patience instead of panic, heaven trades frustration for favor. You give up what drains and receive what sustains. The exchange happens quietly, invisibly, but unmistakably. Think back on all the things that fell away this year, the relationships that ended, the plans that dissolved, the doors that refused to open. You thought you were losing, but heaven was clearing space. Sometimes God removes what we think we need to make room for what He already prepared. The spiritual law is simple: emptiness precedes filling. Only empty hands can receive new gifts. This is why God sometimes allows subtraction before multiplication. The loss feels painful, but it's actually precision. Like a gardener pruning branches, He cuts not to harm, but to help you grow straighter, stronger, and taller. Every divine exchange is wrapped in discomfort because transformation never feels gentle while it's happening. Yet when the process ends, you'll realize how perfectly orchestrated it was. When you refused to fight back against accusation, heaven recorded it as humility and traded your silence for supernatural defense. When you surrendered what you couldn't control, heaven recorded it as trust and traded your confusion for clarity. When you worshipped with tears streaming down your face, heaven recorded it as faith and traded your grief for glory. You may not see the transaction, but your soul feels the shift. This great exchange is not something you earn, it's something you live through. The cost is not money or effort, it's surrender. The moment you stop clinging to what's fading, your hands become open for what's eternal. You stop bargaining with God and start believing Him. And in that stillness, the exchange happens faster than you imagine. It's important to understand that divine trade never leaves you poorer. Heaven is not a thief. Heaven is an investor. Whatever God takes, He intends to increase. He took your solitude and turned it into strength. He took your heartbreak and turned it into discernment. He took your delay and turned it into divine timing. You are not losing, you are being upgraded. The great exchange also reveals the justice of heaven. When others wronged you and you chose peace instead of payback, heaven noticed. God takes what was done against you and exchanges it for honor. That is why vengeance is unnecessary for the chosen. Their silence is the courtroom where heaven judges rightly. Chosen one, the trade is almost complete. The pain that once defined you is now the testimony that will deliver others. The weight that once crushed you is becoming the oil that anoints you. Every loss has been rewritten in light. You are walking into a season where nothing you endured will be wasted. The exchange will soon become visible. You will begin to see restoration that makes no logical sense, opportunities resurrected, relationships healed, resources released. and you'll realize this was never about what you gave up, but what you were being prepared to receive. According to the Apostles' words in the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 19, "Do not take revenge, for it is written, 'It is mine to avenge, I will repay,' says the Lord." So rest. Let God handle the balance sheet of your life. He is both accountant and redeemer. The great exchange is not pending, it's processing. Trust that every silent surrender is producing supernatural return. Soon, you'll see that nothing was stolen. Everything was traded for something better. Grace is the current that carries the chosen through every storm. You've walked through testing, endured silence, and guarded secrets, and now heaven whispers a new revelation, the number 5. This is not coincidence, it's a divine pattern. 5 has always symbolized grace, God's undeserved favor that moves when effort ends. The 5th day of creation filled the skies and seas with life. The 5th book of the law, Deuteronomy, echoed the promise of blessing. Grace always multiplies life, and you, chosen one, are stepping into it. January 5 is not just a date, it's an echo of grace. The 5th day of a new year. The 5th step after silence. The 5th breath after surrender. The number itself holds meaning beyond math. It is rhythm, renewal, mercy in motion. Heaven uses numbers as symbols because numbers cannot lie. The same God who designed galaxies designed this moment with precision. Grace does not arrive because you are perfect. It arrives because God is. It does not reward your striving. It rescues you from it. The past seasons of struggle were classrooms in humility so that you could now receive grace without pride. When you reach the limit of your strength, grace steps in as your supply. That is why your journey felt so heavy. It was the weight of self lifting off so grace could take over. Chosen one, grace is not just forgiveness, it's empowerment. It gives you the strength to stand when your legs tremble, to speak life when words feel dry, to keep believing when logic says quit. Grace is the oxygen of the Spirit. Without it, faith faints. With it, even the faint-hearted find courage to begin again. The number 5 is heaven's fingerprint on your destiny. You will begin to notice it on clocks, on receipts, in moments that seem random but are not. These are divine reminders that mercy is walking beside you. Every 5 you see from this day forward is a whisper you are covered. Grace doesn't erase your past, it redeems it. What once broke you becomes what builds you. There is something holy about grace. It rewrites stories without editing truth. It doesn't pretend pain didn't happen. It transforms it into purpose. You are not being erased. You are being rewritten. Grace is God's pen moving through your scars to sign your future. And on January 5th, heaven will mark your story with that signature again. This is why your silence mattered. It was the doorway grace needed to enter. When you stopped arguing, grace started arranging. When you stopped trying to fix what was broken, grace began rebuilding it better. Everything you surrendered is now returning in renewed form. The enemy hoped silence would suffocate you, but grace turned it into strength. You are not entering a season of striving. You are entering a flow. Grace will bring people you didn't expect, resources you didn't plan for, and opportunities you didn't chase. You won't need to force what God freely gives. The doors that once refused to open will swing wide, not because you knocked harder, but because grace turned the handle. Chosen one, the number 5 is your prophetic reminder that heaven favors you not because you earned it, but because God chose you. Walk in it with humility, not hesitation. Let grace teach you how to rest while still rising, how to fight without fury, how to win without shouting. The apostle wrote in his letter to the Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, "For it is by grace you have been saved, through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God. So when the fifth day dawns, pause and thank Him. Let your first breath that morning be gratitude. Let your silence be worship and your peace be praise. Heaven is watching for those who recognize grace not as theory, but as heartbeat. And now, as a sign that you receive this divine grace and align yourself with heaven's rhythm, write this number below as your declaration of faith. 555. This number is the echo of triple grace confirmation that what is written in heaven is unfolding on earth. When you type it, you are saying, I receive what grace has written. I am ready for new life. Words are invisible weapons. They shape the unseen long before they appear in sound. Every syllable, every whisper, every careless remark is a seed dropped into the soil of the Spirit, and sooner or later, that seed bears fruit. The battle you are fighting now, chosen one, is not only around you, it is also spoken about you. It is the battle of tongues. This battle is not fought with swords, but with speech. It is waged in gossip, accusation, criticism, and curses. The enemy understands something most people forget, that words carry the authority of creation. That is why he uses mouths as his primary weapons. Long before wars begin in the natural, they begin in conversation. Words either build or break, bless or bind, heal or harm. You have felt this battle without seeing it. You've sensed the heaviness after hearing certain voices, the confusion that follows certain conversations. Those are not coincidences. They are spiritual echoes of warfare being waged through speech. Some people don't even know they're being used. They speak in irritation, in jealousy, in casual doubt, unaware that every sentence is either opening heaven or empowering darkness. But you, chosen one, are not defenseless. God has already given you the strategy to win this battle, and it begins with silence. Every time you refuse to speak evil for evil, you break a chain. Every time you answer gossip with grace, you disarm the enemy. Every time you choose truth over rumor, you shift the balance of power. Silence is not surrender, it is spiritual authority expressed through restraint. This is why the enemy tries to provoke you. He wants to pull you into arguments that drain your spirit and darken your atmosphere. But you must remember, you do not fight fire with fire. You overcome it with water. The calm tone of a spirit-led soul extinguishes the flames of hostility. When you speak peace, heaven amplifies your voice, and darkness loses its echo. Chosen one, the greatest weapon you possess is your tongue. But only when it's surrendered. You have the power to bless your future or curse it by the way you speak about yourself. Stop repeating failure. Stop labeling your life with words that contradict what heaven has declared. The battle of tongues isn't only external, it's internal. Sometimes the most dangerous lies are the ones we tell ourselves. Learn to speak like a victor, not a victim. Replace phrases like I can't. With God will replace I'm not enough. With He is more than enough through me. Your speech is the steering wheel of your destiny. The direction of your words determines the direction of your life. The power of words is ancient. From the beginning, God spoke and creation responded. The universe still obeys the echo of His voice. You were made in His image, your words too. Create. That is why you must guard your mouth as sacred territory. Every time you speak, the spirit realm listens. Angels respond to words of faith. Demons react to words of fear. You decide daily which one you empower. Do not be surprised if people begin to speak against you when breakthrough approaches. That's how the enemy tries to weaken your focus. But the more they talk, the more you rise, because God turns their words into fuel. Like arrows shot into the wind, their accusations lose direction when you refuse to engage. Silence is the shield that sends their words back to the void. The discipline of speech is a mark of maturity. The stronger your anointing, the quieter your tone becomes, and when you learn to speak with grace, your words carry weight beyond volume. A single sentence of peace from you can end a storm of confusion. That is the authority of a guarded tongue, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 12, verse 36. Everyone will have to give account on the day of judgment for every empty word they have spoken. So weigh your words before they leave your lips. Speak less, but mean more. Bless even when you bleed. Declare light where others spread darkness. And if you must speak, let your words sound like healing. In the battle of tongues, victory doesn't belong to the loudest, it belongs to the purest. Keep your speech sacred, and no curse can cling to you. The one who guards their tongue becomes untouchable. Let heaven, not anger, write your replies. Heaven is never empty. Every word, every silence, every act of obedience is witnessed, recorded, and remembered. There are unseen observers who never sleep, angels assigned not only to protect but also to record. You, chosen one, are not walking unobserved. The moments when you bit your tongue instead of responding, the times you chose peace over pride, the nights you prayed instead of posting all of it was seen. Every quiet victory has been written into heaven's archives. These are heaven's witnesses. You may feel unnoticed on earth, but heaven has a different perspective. The courts of the Spirit operate with perfect awareness. Every decision you make, especially when no one else is watching, adds to the testimony of your faith. The angels bear record, not to judge, but to affirm the truth of your endurance. In a world that celebrates noise, heaven crowns silence. There are books in the unseen realm, ancient ledgers of mercy and obedience. Each page holds stories of those who stood firm when others fell away. When you resist temptation, another line of light is written under your name. When you choose forgiveness instead of revenge, heaven highlights your entry. You are being documented not for punishment, but for promotion. Chosen one, understand this: every act of restraint builds spiritual credit. The unseen scribes of heaven mark your growth. When others yield to anger, but you choose compassion, you are proving your maturity. Heaven measures integrity not by visibility, but by secrecy. It is not what you do in front of others that moves God's heart, it is what you do when no one sees but Him. Think of Job, whose story was read aloud in heaven's court. His faith was not displayed for applause, but tested under witness. The same is true for you. Your private obedience is public evidence before the throne. Every time you decide to stay pure, to stay patient, to stay silent, heaven notes it as testimony. You are not forgotten. You are being filed under faithful. When heaven records your obedience, it does not fade with time. Angels don't forget. The reward might not arrive immediately, but it accumulates interest. Every seed of self-control you plant becomes a tree of favor that will bear fruit in due season. Even now, unseen hands are turning the pages of your record, preparing the next chapter, the one labeled reward. Chosen one, there is something sacred about being watched by heaven. It changes how you live. You begin to realize that every action has eternal echo. The way you speak, the way you treat others, the way you manage pain, all of it testifies. Your life becomes a sermon heaven writes in light. You are no longer performing for people, you are bearing witness for eternity. The witnesses of heaven are not distant, they are near. They celebrate every small victory. When you stand firm under temptation, they rejoice. When you forgive those who hurt you, they shout in silent harmony. Their joy is not noisy but radiant. You can feel it sometimes, a sudden warmth, a quiet peace, a reassurance that you are not unseen. This is why you must not despise your silent seasons. Heaven is busiest when you feel most forgotten. The recorders are writing your resilience. The court is collecting your courage. The judge is preparing to announce what no eye has seen. You have been living faithfully in secret, and soon, what was private will become public. Daniel spoke of this realm when he wrote of thrones set in place and books being opened. Those same books hold the names of the chosen who endured. You are one of them. Heaven's witnesses have seen your tears and turned them into testimony. They have seen your faith and recorded it as evidence against your enemies, as it is written in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 10. The court was seated and the books were opened. That moment is coming again. The court will reconvene on your behalf. Every wrong will be weighed, every endurance rewarded. What was mocked in silence will be honored in glory. Heaven's witnesses will testify they remained faithful. So walk with dignity, knowing you are observed by eyes that never blink. Every humble act is documented. Every quiet prayer is catalogued. And one day, when the verdict is read, your name will echo through heaven not as forgotten, but as faithful. There is a crown being shaped in silence, a crown not of gold or jewels, but of light. It is woven from every moment you chose peace over pride, from every tear you turned into prayer, from every word you decided not to speak. This is the crown of the quiet ones. Heaven does not crown the loud, it crowns the loyal. It honors those who stayed still when storms demanded reaction, those who trusted when explanations ran out. Chosen one, you have been walking through refinement, not rejection. You were not being ignored. You were being polished. Every delay that frustrated you was sandpaper smoothing your edges for royalty. The silence that felt heavy was heaven's workshop, where humility and holiness were forged together in your heart. And now, the shaping nears its end. The crown of quiet ones is almost ready to rest upon your spirit. This crown is not seen by eyes of flesh. It glows in the unseen, radiating through peace, through presence, through purpose. People will feel something different about you but won't know what changed. That's because your authority no longer comes from argument, it comes from anointing. The one who has mastered silence carries a gravity the world cannot imitate. You no longer need to convince, you simply exist as proof that grace wins quietly. The crown is not reward alone, it is recognition. Heaven is declaring that your restraint has been recorded as royalty. You ruled yourself when you could have reacted. You reigned over emotion when you could have retaliated. That is the highest form of dominion. For what good is a throne if you cannot govern your own tongue? This is the moment where heaven begins to elevate you publicly. You will find yourself invited into spaces you didn't chase, honored by people who once ignored you, and trusted with influence you did not demand. That is how God crowns his chosen, by making their peace louder than their defense. But before the crown rests fully, heaven asks one final question. Will you remain humble while being honored? Because true royalty never forgets where it came from. The crown of the quiet is sustained not by pride, but by purpose. You wear it not for display, but for duty. You become a vessel of calm in a chaotic world, a mirror reflecting heaven's gentleness in human form. Chosen one, pause for a moment, breathe deeply. Feel that invisible weight of light forming above you. It is the tangible reminder that your silence was not in vain. You have been anointed through stillness. The Apostle Peter once wrote in his first letter, chapter 5, verse 6, "Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time." That time is near. You are about to be lifted, but lifted quietly, beautifully, naturally, not forced, not rushed, like the morning sun rising from darkness. Your honor will appear without announcement. The ones who doubted you will stand amazed, and the ones who believed in you will rejoice. And as this moment unfolds, let your gratitude overflow. Think of how light travels, it moves without sound, yet it reaches galaxies. That is how your peace will move, soundless but unstoppable. If these words have rested gently on your heart, let that feeling guide you. Click like not as obligation, but as the flutter of a soul recognizing truth. Share this message the way light spills through a window naturally, beautifully, without effort. Subscribe not to follow a voice, but to remain near a frequency of peace. And if grace whispers to your spirit, consider giving. Donate not as payment, but as participation. Every gift, no matter its size, is like adding another gem to the crown of light. Finally, if this message spoke directly to your soul, leave a comment below saying simply, "I choose peace." This is not performance, it is prophecy. It tells heaven you accept your crown with humility, that you choose serenity over struggle. Each word typed becomes a thread of light woven into your unseen crown. Like, share, comment, subscribe, or give only as love leads you. Let your support be a psalm, your generosity a song, and your silence the echo that keeps heaven listening. After the 5th day, everything changes. The stillness that once felt like waiting transforms into movement. The atmosphere around you shifts subtly, like the quiet turn of the tide after a storm. You might not notice it at first. Grace rarely arrives with fanfare. But as the days unfold, the proof will appear. Your spirit will feel lighter, your path clearer, your heart stronger. This is what happens after the 5th. The silence you endured was not the end, it was the reset. Heaven has been recalibrating your steps so that what comes next cannot collapse. Everything you've walked through, the silence, the restraint, the surrender, was preparation for this acceleration. The test of silence was never about words, it was about alignment. Now that your voice is disciplined, heaven can trust you with influence. The shift has begun. After the 5th, doors will begin to open without you knocking. Not because of your effort, but because heaven has pre-approved your entry. The season of striving gives way to the season of flow. What once took sweat will now happen through stillness. Opportunities will find you because your spirit has become magnetic to divine timing. When you trust the quiet, you attract miracles. This is the divine pattern: first silence, then sound, first stillness, then speed. Just as the earth rests before spring bursts forth, your soul had to settle before your destiny could bloom. What seemed like delay was gestation. What looked like emptiness was incubation. The silence was the womb of your next level. Chosen one. This new season will feel different. You will notice how peace leads the way instead of pressure. The same things that once triggered anxiety will no longer disturb you. That's because you've grown spiritually immune to distraction. Heaven doesn't remove the storm, it strengthens you to walk calmly through it. After the 5th, peace becomes your compass. You may feel moments of déjà vu as if you've been here before, but everything will unfold with greater clarity. The same situations will reappear. But this time, you will respond differently. You will not argue. You will discern. You will not rush. You will rest. That is the proof of transformation. Heaven never wastes repetition, it uses it to reveal growth. In this season, God will begin returning what was once withheld. But it won't come in the same form you lost it. What left your life as disappointment will return as destiny. Relationships may reemerge, but this time, they'll be refined. Opportunities may knock again, but now, you'll know which doors are truly yours. You are no longer the same person who first asked. The silence has matured you. After the fifth, acceleration feels effortless. You'll begin to sense divine momentum carrying you forward. But this movement will not be frantic, it will be graceful, like a sailboat catching wind. Your task is not to row harder, but to align your sail. The wind is the spirit, your silence prepared you to feel its direction. Those who still live in noise will not understand how you move so smoothly. But you'll know this is what happens when heaven begins to breathe for you. Every silent yes you gave is now bearing fruit. Heaven has turned obedience into opportunity. The blessings coming will not require explanation, they will speak for themselves. And when they do, remember the lesson of the silence. Not every miracle needs to be announced. Some glories are meant to be guarded. This season is holy. Walk through it gently. Don't rush to tell everyone what God is doing. Let the fruit testify. Just as a tree doesn't shout while it grows, you too will expand quietly. The ones who once overlooked you will look again, and this time, they'll see the grace that silence built. The prophet Isaiah wrote in his book, chapter 40, verse 31, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." After the fifth, this verse becomes your reality. You will soar not in haste, but in harmony. You will rise not by force, but by faith. You will move not to prove, but to fulfill. The silence has served its purpose. Now the wind takes over. When the silence finally breaks, it will not sound like noise, it will sound like authority. The voice that once trembled with uncertainty will now carry the weight of heaven's breath. You will not need to raise it. Power will rest inside every word. This is the sound of victory. Then it does not scream, it resounds quietly yet unmistakably, echoing through every corner of your life. You will know the moment it happens. It won't be dramatic, yet everything will feel different. You'll wake up one morning and sense it, the heaviness gone, the atmosphere clear, your spirit alive again. The quiet that once felt suffocating will suddenly feel sacred, as if every silence before this day was only preparing space for this sound. It is not the sound of striving, it is the sound of fulfillment. Chosen one. When God releases your voice again, it will not be the same voice that entered silence. This one has been refined in stillness, tempered through patience, and filled with divine precision. Words that come from this voice will carry healing. They will carry direction. They will carry fire. Every syllable will ring with clarity because it will no longer come from emotion, it will come from revelation. This is why the silence was necessary. Heaven had to quiet you before it could trust you. When words are purified in silence, they return as weapons of light. The world does not need more noise. It needs truth spoken from clean hearts. Your voice is becoming one of those rare instruments heaven plays through. When you speak now, your sound will slice through confusion. Your tone will dismantle lies, and your peace will still storms. There is a reason God kept you hidden while He rebuilt your sound. If He had released your voice too early, it might have echoed pain instead of purpose. But now your words no longer bleed, they bless. Every prayer, every whisper, every cry has merged into one pure note, a song of victory composed by surrender. And when that sound goes forth, it will not only change you, it will change the atmosphere around you. Rooms will feel lighter when you walk in. Conversations will shift when you speak. People will sense peace even when you remain silent, because victory carries its own frequency. You have become that frequency. You will look back and realize how every pause, every delay, every unanswered prayer was part of heaven's rhythm. God was tuning you. The silence was the tuning fork that adjusted your soul to the key of faith. Now, when you speak, your voice will harmonize perfectly with heaven's melody. You will no longer pray out of panic but out of partnership. You will no longer speak for attention but for alignment. That is the sound of maturity, the sound of victory. This sound does not boast. It blesses. It does not demand. It declares. It does not react. It restores. You will find that your words now move mountains not because of their volume, but because of their purity. The authority of heaven doesn't shout. It simply is. And you, chosen one, have become that authority in human form. You've been forged through silence into speech that carries eternal echo. When you open your mouth again, the world will recognize the difference not because you sound louder, but because you sound like heaven. The Apostle John saw this power clearly in the Revelation, chapter 12, verse 11. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. That testimony is yours now. You have overcome not by argument, not by force, but by faith. Your silence became your sword. Your restraint became your armor, and now your words have become your victory cry. As your voice returns, use it with reverence. Speak only what builds, heals, and uplifts. Let your words water the weary and awaken the sleeping. Every time you speak truth, heaven moves. Every time you bless instead of curse, darkness loses ground. You are no longer reacting to life. You are reshaping it through sound. Chosen one, the silence has done its work. The fifth day has passed. The crown has settled. The books have been opened. And now your voice healed, holy, and whole rises like a new dawn. The sound that leaves your lips will be more than words. It will be proof that obedience births power. This is the sound of victory, calm, confident, unshakable. It does not chase applause, it commands peace. And as heaven listens, the earth will follow. You were born for this moment. Speak softly, but speak with heaven behind you. And now, beloved chosen one, the silence has lifted, the journey has spoken, and the crown has settled. You've walked through fire and found peace. You've learned that God's quiet is not distance, it's design. You've discovered that every pause had purpose, and every whisper was a map leading you home. The story has come full circle, but the calling continues. You are not at the end, you are at the unveiling. Take this message not as a sermon, but as a mirror. You have seen yourself in these words, the strong, the silent, the chosen. Carry that truth forward wherever you go. Let your calm be contagious, your peace be prophetic, your presence be proof that heaven still speaks through human hearts. If this journey has touched you, if even one line felt like it was written with your name on it, click like as your quiet amen. It tells heaven you have heard and received. Share this story as a gentle act of light. Someone you may never meet is waiting for the same whisper that once found you. Let your share be a bridge. Subscribe not for content, but for connection, to stay aligned with a flow of messages that keep your spirit anchored when the world grows loud. And if your heart feels stirred, consider giving. Donate not because you are asked, but because you are moved. Think of it as breathing life back into the well that refreshed you. Every gift, no matter the size, becomes a ripple of kindness that reaches further than you'll ever see. Finally, leave a comment below, perhaps just a phrase that rises from your heart, like I am ready. Let heaven see your agreement, and let your words be the echo that keeps this light alive. This is not goodbye, chosen one. It's the beginning of a quieter, stronger, luminous you.